Howdy, howlers. Hold on, let me fix something. Boop. There we go. I have this fancy mic. I might as well use it, right? Hi, Cliftofer. So good to see you, darling. And who am I? What's going on here? So howdy, howlers. I'm Sako Toomey, also known as Casvoit. Guess who's back? Back again. Yeah. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine these three things. So I'm pulling the witch card this hour, and we're going to read from Weave the Liminal. Damn, Nightbot. I thought the time thing was 15 minutes. It hasn't been. It's been a minute. A full minute. Hello. Should be in bed, but I'm back again. Are you still eating crumpets? Is that why? Yeah, it's good to see you, Cliftofer. Jeez. It's been a minute. We are happy to see you too. All right. I'm gonna crack this book open. All right, talking about the shore. Okay. Do you guys care what the liminal is? What she calls the liminal, chaos, which is called gnosis, devoid of any excuse other than the fact that I have no self-control. I feel you, honey. There is not a new version available. You're lying to me. Also, you're no longer seeing the drive that you came with, so it's a moot point. I don't know. I really want this thing to work. Stressed out enough that I dreamt about it last night. Okay, you're getting power, but you're not coming up on here. I also have some photos I need to process today. Is that a point? Wedding photos for Kai and Lauren. Because I backed them up yesterday, so I have 2 copies of the Lightroom files. And now I'm going to port it into Photoshop and finalize them. I have to remember what it was I was doing with them, how I was processing them, but I did just a lot of lighting and stuff like that, so it should be kosher. Nightbot is calling you out. What's the next one? Spiral overlay, the shape of everything and the gateway to the divine. Talking about spirits, talking about gods. Lots about gods. Wow. Lots about gods. And then about the self-divine. And then the dead. Do we want to talk about the dead? Or do we want to just like go through the go through the book as it goes? And we'll talk about who's it? Gnosis and stuff. Because that is obviously what she's talking about when she's talking about the shore stuff yesterday, right? Hi, Mindy. I'm just getting a slow start. Also, I kind of want to show off my mug. Yeah. My adopted little sister sent it to me for my birthday. Because I announced that I was releasing a book. And she's like, wow, kicked today's ass. And my dad gave me a bracelet that says, you fucking got this, which is really touching. Super touching. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Hey, Mindy and pronoun. What is the liminal? I'll just start this section over. Yeah. Yeah, I called him to thank him, and he's like, oh, Pookie, I'm so proud of you. Which is like the first time he's ever said he's proud of me when I'm 38 years old. So that was tear-jerking, to say the least. I mean, he tells me he loves me all the time, but he doesn't necessarily tell me that he's proud of me, right? So I think because he wrote a book in his youth and he never published it. I think because he keeps saying that he's going to do a revision. Well, he just says, I'm going to write it all over. But I call it that, a revision. And he just never does. I think partly because I have the copy of it, the hard copy, which was printed on a dot matrix printer, if that tells you anything. Why must I do dumb things like crashing my bike on the way to work? Oh my God! I'm so sorry that happened, Charlotte. Ow. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to read this thing. Also, I'm going to check on this hard drive. I don't think it's going to read. I don't think it's going to read. That sucks. I don't know what to do with this now other than throw it away. $80 in the trash. Damn it. Hi, Melanie. My neck and spine are out of alignment a little with some strained muscles. Yeah, ow. Oh no. Oh yeah. Sorry. I couldn't help it. Hi, Hannah. I'm talking about liminal stuff today. And the concept of gnosis, basically. I'm pretty sure. And then we'll get into talking about gods and working with them. Those kind of faults can be nasty enough. Oh my gosh. Hope you feel better soon. Yay. People saying hi. All right. I spent every summer of my childhood at the shore. One of my earliest memories is getting up with the sun, standing on the dune in front of the house, and marveling at the way the sun sparkled off the waves like the water was made of diamonds. Minus the occasional early bird. Oh, it's trying to remind me that I have meds at the grocery store. Where was I? Diamonds. Minus the occasional early bird out for a walk. The beach was deserted, so it felt like only the seagulls and I bore witness to this dazzling display. The waves pulled back to reveal treasures of shells and creatures wet and fresh. Wet and fresh. The morning ocean was full of promise before the world woke up and invaded the beach. Equally amazing were the occasions when the moon was full and the night was clear. The sunbathers had all gone home, so the only sound was the surf breaking on the cool sand. The moon shone down like a glittering path on the water, beckoning like a siren to come into the water and see where the light would lead you. There we go. The ocean at night sang its lullaby while the waves and wind swallowed up the footprints, erasing the evidence of those who had been there during the day. This pair of events marks a special in-between time, one holding a sense of before and the other after. However, my favorite in-between time at the beach is the gloaming, what I call the glowing hour. When the sun has begun to set, an aura of dusk takes over at the place where the land and the water meet. Both the water and the wet sand take on luminescence that is unearthly. Yes, I get it. Jeez. As you walk along the bubbling breakers and foam, feet sinking into the sand, you get the sense that you are treading inside a giant shell made of mother of pearl. The edges of the sky, the ocean, and the beach disappear, and the world becomes a little quieter, hushed even. You become transported to a place that is not a place, outside of time, where earth, water, and air all blur into one. To me, that is the essence of the liminal. I have to agree. How does the rest of the world define liminal? Merriam-Webster gives us this beautiful tidbit. The noun limin refers to the point at which a physiological or psychological effect begins to be produced, and liminal is the adjective used to describe things associated with that point, or threshold, as it is called. Likewise, the closely related word subliminal means below a threshold. It can describe something inadequate to produce a sensation or something operating below a threshold of consciousness. Because the sensory threshold is a transitional point where sensations are just beginning to be perceptible, liminal acquired two extended meanings. It can mean barely perceptible and is now often used to mean transitional or intermediate, as in the liminal zone between sleep and wakefulness. I know this as hypnagogia, as that space between wake and sleep, also known as gnosis. So much of the experience of being a witch and practicing witchcraft is hard to put into words. However, liminal is one of those words that gets pretty close to describing much of what we sense. It is a good adjective that captures this sense of there, but not quite as a sensation. Applied as a noun, it gives a name to the in-between places we traverse as spirits still connected to the physical realm, while we work with spirits of other realms. While we call those realms what we call those realms has a lot to do with what culture we belong to, what myths we subscribe to, and how we view the invisible and the unknown. But they all find a home in the word liminal. Hi, Raven. Find it funny that last week I was tripping over my pants trying to run to the freeze and get ice cream, and this week it's crashing my bike. I am forever slightly bruised. Yeah. Woo! Hope you have a smooth recovery. Yay, Hannah. The book I am reading from is Weave the Liminal by Laura Tempest Zakroff. It is wherever you are on your path, from novice to adept, there is something in Weave the Liminal to inspire you forward. Which I think is true. So I have been reading from this for the past month or so, and I think it's interesting to equate it to my own paradigm. So there's some things that I agree with and some things I don't necessarily agree with. Ouch! I just braked on the wet tarmac trying to go to round a corner, and my back wheel went. Wait, did pronoun say owie? I once crashed my bike into a speeding car, bent the whole front wheel. Gonna be even worse with a bike. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Round a corner, my back wheel went out from under me, going too quick because time management is not my strong point. Yeah. Hope you feel better. Stay away from bikes. Jeez, I could listen to you read for hours. Oh, thank you. You're very sweet. I try to only do it for an hour. Adept now. That's a great word. I'm very much not adept at avoiding injuries. I'm stream hopping today, so I'll be in and out. Have a good day, everyone. Yay. All right, where was I? Modern society tends to view itself as the only reality, unless it wants to get scared and tell ghost stories. But for thousands of years, our ancestors have been very much of the mind that there is more to the world than we can see. In Catholic mythology, there are heaven, purgatory, limbo, and hell to describe the various places and states a soul could wander through. In Greek mythology, not only is there an underworld, but it has at least 5 sections: Tartarus and Asphodel Meadows, and the Morning Fields, Elysium, and the Isles of the Blessed. In voodoo practices, Guinea is the spirit world where the souls of the dead live after passing through the 7 gates. In the Japanese Shinto religion, the land of the dead, or world of darkness, is called Yomi no Kuni. I just know it as Yomi. Believed to be physically separate from this reality. In Hebrew scripture, the land where all the dead go is called Sheol. It is said to be a place of stillness and darkness, cut off from life and from God. In Norse mythology, there's Yggdrasil, the world tree, which holds all of the 9 realms of existence within its branches and roots. Hindus see the world as divided into 3 parts: Svarga, Prithvi, and Patala. In Aboriginal beliefs, the dreaming or dream time encompasses all aspects of life, sacred and secular, physical and spiritual, permeating this reality at times. The Navajo creation story has 3 underworlds, and it's said that we live in the 4th world, known as the glittering world. I have to get to work. My car is at my parents' and I don't have my license. Screw walking. Yeah. I don't think I could ride a bike to Richmond, but that would be awesome. It's a ball of wibbly wobbly stuff. Again and again, we see that our ancestors believed in different realms of existence beyond the obvious world that we interact with daily. In addition, not only are there separate layers or locations of existence, but there are also countless stories and names for the beings that inhabit them. Angels, demons, ghosts, djinn, fae, elves, nymphs, fates, pixies, gnomes, and so on. From the undead to otherkin, every culture has names, myths, lore, and protocols for beings that are similar to us but aren't us and aren't quite of our world. Your kitty is talking. My kitty is talking to your kitty. Did my kitty meow? I didn't hear. I did not hear my kitty meowing. All right. Obviously, humanity has given a lot of thought to the worlds beyond what we can see. Sure, we could dismiss some things we have explained through science, such as the myths used to explain natural phenomena in the world around us. We know that the seasons are caused by the tilted axis of the round planet spinning in an elliptical orbit around the sun, and not by the goddess Demeter mourning the loss of her daughter Persephone and reviving the world when she returns every spring. But there is much that science has yet to explain, and the scientific method is not necessarily up to the challenge of measuring liminal occurrences. That's not true. That's why they study something called hypnagogia. Oh, squishy, squishy, squishy. I think today is bath day. The scientific method is designed for testing things that can happen in controlled, physically bound environments. Any good scientist will tell you that there are many things that simply cannot be measured or tested using this method because the conditions surrounding the phenomena are nearly impossible to control consistently. I disagree. It's pretty consistent. You heard a meow too. It may have been the TV, but I heard a meow. Then my kitty meowed and assumed it was yours. But Raven heard the meow as well. I do not know where my cat is. So any good scientist will tell you there are many things that simply cannot be measured or tested with using the method because the conditions surrounding the phenomena are nearly impossible to control consistently, which I think is bullshit. You try getting a deity or spirit to do anything on command. Okay, ceremonial magicians, you guys hush. And what are you doing reading this book anyway? There is much we can prove in this world, and then there are unseen things where the evidence is manifested through generations of human fascination. Sometimes we must put down the beakers and books, close our eyes, and see the divine within. Furthermore, there is something to be said for the emotional and poetic depth of myth that is lost in reducing everything to science. The beauty of imagination, intuition, and art is that through them we can experience the world at a much deeper, more profound level. Yeah, hold on. This is No cat's here, so good chases. The kitty spoke. I don't see my kitty. I do not know where she is. I'm gonna open a tab. And share said tab. New tab, please. Okay, so this is my home screen. Hooray. Hypnagogia. Logic hallucinations. Also, sleep paralysis. Also, near-death experience. They're all related. I did a video on it. I can't remember if I posted it. Wow, cool. So, this is the U.S. National Library of Medicine, National Institutes of Health. The origin and prevalence of near-death experiences are unknown. A recent study suggested a link with REM sleep intrusion, but was criticized for its selection of control participants. We therefore assessed the association of REM intrusion and near-death experiences with different methods. So they went into it. Yeah, do you experience hypnagogia? So they're talking about REM sleep intrusion, but what they're really talking about is hypnagogia. Like just before falling asleep or after awakening, have you seen objects, things, or people that others can't see? Or have you heard voices? Or have you felt paralyzed? Or have you had muscle weakness in your legs or knees, or felt weakness in your face or head? And then, so there is a correlation between hypnagogia and near-death experiences. And those who have experienced a near-death experience totally can make better use of the hypnagogic state than people who have not. Emotional danger. In plain language, near-death experiences are exceptional experiences that you may have when you are dying or feel as if you are dying. Have you ever had a near-death experience, either during a true life-threatening event or an event that felt just so? Have you had more than one? I sure have. Near-death experience scale. That's interesting. Did you come to a border or point of no return? Oh, well, obviously, I don't suspect there is a... But yeah, you can totally research this deeply. There was, in fact, scientific study regarding hypnagogia, and the near-death experience also related to the orgasm, also why it's called the little death in French, because that heightened state, that in-between totally id sort of state, that is gnosis. That is that space betwixt time that we as witches use. REM is the dream state, and when your brain replays and processes the experience, so it makes sense that interrupting that could result in the brain doing weird stuff like sleep paralysis. Well, it says that it's interrupting REM, but it's not, because REM hasn't started yet, right? So, because you have to go through the hypnagogic state in order to get to REM sleep. So people like Einstein and Hemingway, Franklin, they all made use of hypnagogia. That's where they got their inspiration, their drive, their ideas from, is making use of hypnagogic brainwaves. So far, I have recorded my hypnagogic states, but so you're supposed to set like a timer. I know I fall asleep in about 10 minutes nowadays. I fall asleep in about 10 minutes, maybe less if I'm medicated. And I set a timer for 10 minutes. I slip into hypnagogia, and then when the 10 minutes are up, I write down whatever is on the front of my mind. So far, none of it's made sense. But soon enough, as I practice it more and more, I think I'll be able to make use of it more and more. So would that mean sleep paralysis is like taking a wrong turn at the way to REM? It's not a wrong way, but it is like going to the bad neighborhood, taking the shortcut through the not so great neighborhood in order to get to REM. Yeah. Also, hypnagogic hallucinations, say you think there's a ghost in your room, like there's a presence in the doorway while you're sleeping, like that could be a thing. Sleep paralysis can also be like, it has been described as having a demon sit on top of your body so that you can't move. That has been recorded. So her ignorance is interesting. It has been scientifically studied, because we have things called sleep paralysis, for instance. Okay, just head down there, take a right, go straight through hypnagogia, and then take the 5th left, a U-turn, over to the right, take the 7th exit, and the roundabout, and you're there! Yeah. Pretty much. And then basically you should be able to come out of that state to record all those directions. That's the supposed way of things. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So now we're talking about gateways, which I've just recently started exploring and making and passing through and all of that jazz. So this is interesting. Ended up in a bad neighborhood with something ominously in the corner. Yeah. But apparently you were more likely, I think it's implying also that if you have had a near-death experience, you're more likely to have sleep paralysis. At least people who can't control their hypnagogics yet. Long-winded metaphor that we have an allegorical flash fiction about hypnagogia. Yeah. But this is how we had tried, right? Those other realms that she was talking about, you slip into this hypnagogic state and you do, basically people who can dissociate can slip it into this state the easiest. And yeah. And then you travel. People like Dahl just travel on Earth to different countries, to different cities, visiting other people. I go to different realms, or at least I have so far. I've been staying local lately, I think, because so much precaution needs to be taken for me to go traveling to other realms. There's a lot of... I got thrown into the bad neighborhood right out of the gate. So if I hadn't taken all the precautions I had, I would have been in big trouble. So I'm kind of hesitant to just flippantly go astral traveling, because it's very easy to stumble into somewhere that... So you're supposed to have a like a focus, like an intent when you go. And I was thinking of moving my domain, that's DEMESNE domain. Also, yay, tangent comparisons. I was going to say stuff and I can't remember what it was. Oh, you're supposed to have an intent before you go. And so I was looking for real estate. I was thinking of making a hut out in the great dark woods, basically, and in the middle realm. And I think the amount of wards I would have to put up would be exhausting. I have already set the wards of my domain as it is. The wards are pretty potent. At first I thought they weren't strong enough, but the palace itself is super warded. There are no doors. So I've had spirits and gods come and visit me, and they haven't been able to enter my palace. I'm sure I could probably allow them to, but I haven't allowed anybody to enter it yet. So all of that is done in that dissociative gnosis hypnagogic state, right? So astral projection, right, is done in that liminal space. All right, get some sleep, yo. Get some sleep. For reals. And also one more day of work and then you can sleep all day. So do it. Yeah. The more you sleep, the faster you'll heal. I need to read some things. Are we doing 7 to 10? I remember something being said about that. I thought we were doing 6 to 10. I think we started doing 7 merely because we were waiting for people to show up. Yep, sweet dreams. Take it easy, babe. Oh. All this talk about liminal stuff, and she's about to go to bed. It's funny. All right. I have 20 minutes. I wonder if I can get a hold of Lisa and do sprints with her. What am I doing with my day? I don't even know. I just looked at my to-do list and I swallowed pure air. The spiral overlay, the shape of everything and the gateway to the divine. I can't say I've ever really sat down and wondered where gods and spirits exist in relation to where we are. Rather, I've always felt that they are part of this world and we are part of theirs. So while there are many fascination models out there, with levels and hierarchies of beings trying to map everything out, I haven't felt a connection to any particular one. If I was going to choose a shape to describe how I feel the universe is made, I would have to select the spiral. From the double helix of DNA to the numbers of the Fibonacci and fractals, to the shape of ferns, flowers, and snail shells, to the looping swirl of the galaxy, the spiral seems to be infinitely present in the makeup of the universe. The spiral moves inward and outward at the same time, connecting points while allowing space in between. I think the realm of the other, where deities and spirits and ancestors reside, is inherently part of this realm, not separate from us and the world we know. Together, all the levels of awareness form everything we know. You could picture a chamber nautilus shell, with its successive chambers spiraling inward and outward, interconnected and supporting with each other in a carefully balanced system. Perhaps you could imagine a model of the universe where each level of existence of awareness is a different colored spiral, looping around or a unifying pole or axis, colors blending as each spiral runs into its neighbor. Or instead of a singular pole like Yggdrasil, the world tree, consider the structure of DNA, a flexible spiral staircase. Visualize each reality as a ladder rail strung across a pair of spiraling backbones, allowing time and space to be flexible, curving in on itself on occasion, able to be oriented in any direction yet held together by the mainframe. If I were going to bet on which design expresses the nature of things, I'd go for the last one. If you unwind and lay out a DNA chain, suddenly there is the structure of a loom before you, containing the information of all the patterns of the world. Everything in the world, humans, plants, animals, mountains, molecules, gods, ancestors, toasters, simultaneously are the threads of the pattern and the weavers making the pattern. Nighty nighty. Matters of spirit. So who or what is spirit? If we look at the world through pantheistic and animistic glasses, everything has a spirit to it. But physical form as we know it is not a requirement. I have always liked the saying, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Hi, Nicole. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Within that statement is the suggestion that we are spirits that temporarily spend time on the physical plane. Once we become separated from our bodies by death, we very likely continue on, which means there are spirits that aren't currently encased in amazing meat suits. If we believe that plants and animals and places all have a unique spiritual energy, then there are many kinds of spirits. Not only that, but there are probably many more kinds than those currently connected to the physical realm that we understand and see. Suddenly, we can see explanations for ghosts, ancestral visitations, gods, angels, demons, fae, and other beings of spirit. I'm going to share with you some of the kinds of spirits I work with and recognize the most. Deities, the self-divine, deceased human beings in terms of the mighty dead, ancestors, and ghosts. I'll explain them to the best of my current knowledge and experience and talk about some of the ways I work with them. Luminous Noumena, gods. The Numen is a divine power, spirit, or deity, particularly one that is considered local, immanent, or presenting nearby. Noumena is the plural of Numen, of course. There are many ways of viewing the forms that divine power can take and how the Noumena can relate to us, just under the pagan umbrella. Polytheists generally believe that deities are specific, whole entities, which, let me try this again. Polytheists generally believe that the deities are specific, whole entities, which each with their own personality, revealed through myths and personal interaction. Those who are more animistic and pantheistic view gods to be the spirits of ancestors, elemental deities, or the animation of a place or object. Monotheists may recognize a singular Numen, with deities seen as archetypes, representations of divinity that we can relate to, or the mythic come to life. Some believe that deities are given sustenance by those who worship them. Others believe the gods to be a facet of the divine source itself in whatever form it chooses to take, impartial to or outside of worship and acknowledgement. People can get really particular to the point of argumentative about their reality of the gods. I believe it's such a personal viewpoint and revelation that the best we can do is share how we see the gods and respect others' perspectives, regardless of whether they agree with us or not. In my personal practice, I recognize the divine as an energy that pulses through the universe, present in the world around me, including myself. Additionally, I have personal and very tactile experiences with deities. Me too. So my belief is that they can do and have distinct personalities and forms. I also acknowledge that archetypes are an extremely useful way to help the human mind connect with myth and spirit. A god can fit an archetype, yet that doesn't mean that they are two-dimensional, like a cardboard cutout, or that all gods that fall under that archetype are the same. For example, you can classify me as an artist, but that doesn't mean I do the same kind of art as other artists or do only art. The gods made us, and we made the gods. So what are gods, and where did they come from? Well, the gods may have created us, but we also created them. Both are true. It's my favorite chicken or the egg example. Some sort of energy pushed us all into being, and perhaps some of the gods were the earliest weavers, working that energy into patterns that made the world. They have revealed themselves to us in various ways, and we continually interpret those visions to understand the shape of the divine. When we look back at history, we start to see parallel myths with gods emerging, merging, and disappearing. The popularity of certain deities has ebbed and flowed, gods rising and falling with civilizations and religions. A singular divine force may explain how everything came into existence somehow, including the gods. But humans have played and continued to play a large role in what the face of a deity looks like. The gods help me connect to the world and understand it better and guide me on my path. But it's also clearly apparent they need me or us as well. Whether it's through us feeding them energy through rites, rituals, and devotional acts, or it's because they require us to do things in the physical world for a variety of reasons. It's a symbiotic relationship, one of give and take and working together. We are responsible for the evolution of the gods through our own hands and minds. If you pay close attention to Abrahamic mythology, you may have noticed something interesting about the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Somehow, over time, this has come to mean there is but one God, but no. Yahweh's commandment acknowledges that there are indeed other gods because he specifically has to say, before me. He doesn't mention having another God after him. Also, the 10 Commandments are said to have come about when the Jews formed a covenant with Yahweh. Basically, they made a contract with that deity. Mythology is filled with people making contracts and agreements with deities. What would it matter to a god if people gave them specific attention? It matters if the deity gets something out of the exchange. Definitely something to think about. Another thing to consider is that concept of a singular, all-powerful, all-knowing deity that could compare to a genetic mutation or anomaly. It's not a deeply prevalent or logical idea. Most creation myths involve a cast of many deities stemming from parental-like being who in turn gives life to other deities and completes their own life cycle. When we compare myths across the world, we see a recurring theme that deities are not all-knowing or powerful. Instead, a deity typically is assigned an area or areas of expertise, may collaborate with other deities to solve problems they can't tackle alone, and often exhibit very human-like behaviors. These familiar traits could be because we are made in their image, or that they are made in ours. I keep pulling like more than one page. And then it's got like a journal reflection, which I'll read, but I'm not expecting anybody to do these. It was, if you come to witchcraft from some other religion with the intention to exchange that one out for something that fits you better, you're probably carrying around some baggage about what God is. Now is a great time to explore what you think and feel the divine is without the constraints of dogma. Dun dun dun! She's a chaos witch and she doesn't know it. I'm just gonna like peek ahead a little bit. Ooh, crossroads, yeah. Ritual application, conversing with the gods. And then the practical witch. It's a very short chapter. Or are these like nodes? Oh, it's basically where to go if you are looking for places, people of like minds. Ooh. Witch's Guide to Essential Etiquette. Your word is your worth. Don't piss on the seedlings, they become trees. Speaking of trees, they can all be felled. The same plant can heal or harm depending on how you interact with it. Don't poison the cauldron. That's what's good for the goose is what's good for the goose. Follow the intent. Threefold literacy. Those who show up determine the outcome. There is no absentee ballot in witchcraft. Truth. The witch is not a victim. Witches are like jellyfish. Are you a good witch? Breaking oaths. Ooh. Troubleshooting and dealing with fears. That's a really cool one. Aradia. Conclusion. We don't have a lot more to go. That's super interesting. We are making super headway in this book. So what do you guys think? The whole astral projection, liminal, the concept of actually being able to find God, and not just find God, but commiserate, to not worship, but to work with, to work alongside. How do you perceive God? Is he a peer? Or is he revered? Granted, I revere the deities that I work with, but I don't worship them. If they want like certain offerings and stuff like that, I will provide offerings. Sure. Hi, Nicole. Oh. My coffee is gone. I'm kind of Oh, Brittany Wang is doing a thing. Is that today? It is. Preptober, plan with me. Yeah. Game. And I'll do that. Is there a thing at Secret to Winning Nano? So Angela Ann, about an hour ago, posted this video called Preptober Plan of Attack, 5 Things to Do Before NaNoWriMo. And I super want to watch it. Honestly, the premise of worship has never been really part of my perception. It's always been a certain respect, sure, but worship always suggests a subservience I don't care for. Yeah. Regarding tarot readings of the future, are they more accurate the closer you are to the event in question? I think the ones that are farther off tend to end up being more accurate. However, the sooner that the event occurs is how shocked people will realize how right I was. Because a lot of people will forget a year later, 2 years later, you know. I have one client, I camp with him every year. He is a loyal subscriber to my readings. I give him a reading once a year in August. And I basically sum up his year. I warn him of pitfalls. I tell him of the successes. Yes, Nightbot is great. Drink that water. Just crack an egg. Cool. I don't know what that is. Is that the one you put in the microwave? Is that how that works? Lisa is at 11, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, there's nothing in that cup, Saka. Can you do a reading? Absolutely. You have 2 choices. Actually, you have 4, but I think it's a little early for shadow work. I prefer to do shadow readings at night. If you are interested in a shadow reading, then we can arrange something in the evening. And it doesn't necessarily have to be public. I can go from nicest to not nicest. I have the Ostara Tarot is particularly nice. It words things very sweetly. Even the catastrophic things, there's always a silver lining, right? Mindy wants the self-care deck. No problemo. This is the Mystic Mondays tarot. I usually do a 1-card pull of this particular deck because it's a mouthful. And I feel like each card has so much meaning and so much advice it can offer that it is English, I know it. Okay. The Eight of Swords. Ooh. You are currently in a state of indecision. Caught between a rock and a hard place. Completely tunnel visioned in, you are unable to see different perspectives with multiple blind spots. Trapped in your mind, you think there is no way out and can't seem to devise an escape plan. However, take a look around and notice that the chains around your arms have been loose this entire time. This is self-inflicted prison, and you have all the tools necessary to break out. Opportunities are aplenty if you choose to see them. Basically, you have choices. Limited thinking leads to even narrower pathways in your prison of limitation. Needing permission from someone else rather than needing permission from someone else other than yourself is giving away your power. Take back what is yours. The only permission you need is from yourself. Change your perspective to open up and allow the infinite possibilities to flow in. See what I mean? It's a lot to unpack. Eight of Swords. So there seems to be some kind of like blockage, but there's no reason why you have to do that one thing. And yeah, open your mind. Tunnel vision isn't always the best way. Okay, I think I need like some water or more coffee or something, and then I'm gonna get a hold of Lisa Daly and see if I can hop on her stream. Oh, creak pop snip. Because I could use another cigarette. Boop boop. Oh, it's a dress. It's a dress. Isn't it neat? Wonder what that blockage is. Then again, my mind does feel like it's tired, still tired. Oh, cool. All right. Thank you all for joining me for this coffee hour. I think diving into this, I'm probably facing a decision right now with my stories, deciding which one to work on, brainstorming for my October fanfics. Yeah, I feel you. Feel you, Mindy. Yeah. So many opportunities. Do things. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. No problem. I will see you guys tomorrow for sure. 2 panels penciled. That's awesome. Yeah. 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 I will set up the streams for tomorrow, maybe the rest of the week. And I will catch you guys hopefully on Lisa's stream. I'm going to see if that's what's up. All right. See you guys.